Hey teammates, welcome back to Teaching with Tenia. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. I basically create teaching, vlog, lifestyle content, whatever comes to my mind and whatever you guys suggest. I really appreciate you guys giving me video suggestions down in the comments below. I definitely have a lot in the vault for you guys, so be sure to stay tuned. So before I go ahead and jump into this video, I first want to thank teachers all across the world, whether you're a teacher, a homeschool teacher, a public charter school, whatever you are. If you're a teacher or you teach anybody, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Yay, woohoo. I have been being spoiled for Teacher Appreciation Week so far, and I feel like we deserve more than a week as teachers. We should just be appreciated every day. So I just want to shout out my fellow teachers out there and say happy Teacher Appreciation Week to you. I don't know why I can't get that out. But yes, as a teacher, I hope you feel loved, supported, and valued this week, and of course all the time. But from my heart to yours, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. So this week, my school has been really fortunate to cater lunches for us as teachers throughout this week. And also we had a ribbon cutting for our new teacher's lounge, brand new, like brand spanking new, brand new furniture, everything, brand new fridge, microwave has been absolutely amazing. I do feel like as a teacher, it is important to feel valued and feel like you have a nice clean space to work, especially when you're planning and dealing with all these other things that we deal with, literally superhero type job. And just to get away, we actually have a sound booth as well that actually blocks sound. I thought it was a refrigerator or something. I'm like, oh, this is like a whole sound booth where you can go in and like not hear any noise, which is amazing. And then like I said before, we have like a workspace area, and then we have like an actual lounge just to debrief, and a sitting area. You guys will see it, it is amazing. For the organization I'm with, I had to create a story of my year, and what better way to showcase my story or talk about my year through video. I absolutely love video, creating content for you guys, and I feel like this will be beneficial because I have tried to talk about teacher mindset and teacher growth on my channel with my teacher diaries. Be sure to check that playlist out because it definitely goes through the ups and downs of teaching, as some of these questions that they ask does as well. But I feel like I do the service of teachers as a disservice if I don't talk about like the hard days. If I don't talk about the hard days where sometimes I feel like, yeah, I just want to honk my horn like that car because it is entirely too much. But needless to say, let's go and talk about the story of my year. I do have some leading questions here, but if you want to ask more questions, I would love to have comment and dialogue down below, because I feel like, of course, this is just my story and my first year as a teacher story. So everybody, depending on where you are or what you go through, may be a little bit different. I just want you to take this with a grain of salt and realize that I'm still grappling with this. And yeah, so let's get started. So question number 1 is, looking back at your vision, where did you or did not achieve success with your students? Mind you, I do have like 4 more weeks of school, so I am crawling to the finish line, but I do feel like I have experienced enough teaching to answer these questions. So my vision coming into teaching was doing the best that I can with what I have. I don't know if you guys have seen that reel. And it was like, I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got. But literally, that's how I felt. I wasn't sure what resources I had, but no matter what, I feel like all students could succeed. So making sure I kept my standards high. And I know that if taught with good explicit instruction, all students are able to have high achievement. So I just knew that if I had that expectation, no matter the good days or the bad days, just realizing my end goal. My goal and my vision was to have students reading. I became an ELA teacher to make that impact and have students be able to read, because it is a lifelong skill that you do need to know. So that was my vision. And as we're wrapping up end of year testing, I feel like for the most part I did succeed at that. For of course, there's still a few students that I feel like I should have done more, I should have did this, I should have did that. But also, like, you could give as much as you want as a teacher, but the student and the parent, like, somebody has to meet you halfway. So that's a little disappointing. So I feel like I didn't have some success there. Of course, you're not gonna meet or have all students on grade level. Like, we don't live in a perfect society. We're not teaching a bunch of robots, unfortunately. No, I do love my students and all their personalities, but I just feel like I am really proud of my success as a teacher this year, especially with me being a first year teacher. I really could have asked for a better year, although despite some behaviors and challenges, I feel like I did as best as I could, and I can put my head down, lay my head down at night and sleep very well knowing that I did my best. Question number 2 is, How did your actions as a teacher contribute to both the progress or the gap? I would say the progress of my students, I didn't learn this until we did the middle of the year assessments. The only way to get students on grade level to learn how to read is to practicing reading. Like, I played basketball in college, so the only way to get better is to practice. And I feel like at first, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't doing as much fluency sheets, which is basically what they need to know how to read. I was focusing more on mountain word practice, and I feel like if I had done that at the beginning of the year, I feel like that would have closed a lot more gaps than I have already done. But I feel like because I was able to pivot and change small groups so frequently to see what my students needed at that very moment, contributed to my success as a teacher. Question number 3 is, what are you most proud of, and what would you change if you can go back? I kind of touched on this in the other question, but if I could change anything, it was basically, it would be having fluency checks a lot sooner, and that's definitely city life for you. Yeah, I would have probably asked for help, of course. As a teacher, or just coming out of college, you think that you know everything. To be honest, I didn't know what I didn't know, but every time I did have a question, my lead was right there to help me. So just asking questions, I did ask 5 questions, but it was like, I guess, deeper questions to ask, and also figuring out where the support team was in my school, because I still I don't know to this day, like, what everybody's job is. Like, I'm asking people, the student needs this, and this, and it's just not getting done. So I would feel like I should have asked for support, or like got to know the other support staff that supports teachers a lot sooner. Now that I know most of them, I still get a runaround sometimes, but at the end of the day, my student needs are met. What am I most proud of? I'm most proud of just my students' character. We've come a long way, and I feel like they are able to realize things in class that they probably didn't even care about at the beginning, or like realize, like, if you hit someone, it's just not good. Like, I've seen a lot of character building, so I'm proud of that, because you need those skills in life. And then, of course, the reading success, that always makes me happy when I see students progressing, and students that even didn't know letter sounds at the beginning of the year, to see them like read a full sentence makes my heart super happy. The expectations that I set on them at the beginning of the year, seeing them come to pass, seeing them reach them, is like, see, I always knew you could do it. I'm most proud of that. And then I'm actually proud of a lot this year, because it was overall a tough year. Your first year of teaching is always tough, but I try to limit myself in saying it was hard, because I got through it. And I even tell my students, like, yes, you can do hard things. And even now, like today, I had a student, he was like, I'm tired, but I'm still gonna get my work done. I was like, you sure are. I'm tired too. But yeah, we were able to persevere through that, when I know for sure that student would have shut down at the beginning of the year. Oh, another thing I'm proud of is seeing my students take accountability for their work. Of course, some students do this and some don't, but to see students take pride in their work, like they're just not turning in sloppy handwriting, and seeing them be like, oh, I don't know this question, that doesn't mean I'm not going to answer it. It means I'm going to ask for help and advocate for myself. And having my students find a voice is something that has been tough, to be honest, because they just sit there. Some students just sit there and not ask for help, and I'm like, I'm right here. How am I going to know to help you? And seeing them say, okay, yeah, I didn't do good on this assignment, but guess what? Next assignment, I got it back. And to see them want to do better. And also, I'm a little competitive, so I have tried not to embed my competitive spirit inside of them, but I'm like, it's you versus you. How can you be a better version of yourself today? And see them say, hey, I'm gonna do this better or this better. So I'm really proud of that. I have this little swing and I absolutely love it. Like, I feel like a little kid again. But question number 4 is, what is your current theory of teacher leadership, and what is needed to achieve ambitious outcomes with your students? I kind of touched on this one as well, but I feel like tough love definitely is needed to achieve high ambitious outcomes, but also perseverance, because not every day, and I feel like that's when I felt my worst as a teacher, when they weren't meeting my expectations. And it took some growing pains. So I feel like if I didn't persevere through those moments, or like have even an internal self-check, like, hey, they're not meeting this goal right now, but that doesn't mean that they're never going to meet it. It may take time, energy, and effort, especially when I started giving my students more leadership in the class. I feel like when I set the high expectations, especially like for my students, their reading level, everybody needs to be able to read 114 words in 1 minute to be on grade level. At first I was like, wow, that's a lot of words, but to see my students start off with reading 90 words a minute, and then 100, and then 116, like seeing that growth, I feel like made them even want to achieve. And I feel like especially the city that I work in, a lot of our students don't get opportunities as they should. And so letting them have a goal and be ambitious enough to attain it, and letting them know it's in arm's reach, they do have to put some hard work behind it. I feel like as a teacher or leader, I feel like if you don't have perseverance or even grace to allow your students to fall in a safe space, but also pick them up when they are down and let them know, hey, you can do this, and give them pep talks and things like that. Like as a teacher, I feel like you are the leader in your classroom, so if you're not leading in that way or even modeling that for your students so that they know what the expectation is and how every day may not be a good day, but it's how you bounce back, I feel like is needed to be a teacher or leader. The next question is, what is your perspective on the system level change that is needed to do this well, which is basically to meet high student outcomes? So I believe what system level change needs to be done is basically more accountability from the top down, the Department of Education, district level, state level, like more accountability, because I feel like the urgency around education is not fast enough. And I feel like it takes the next generation of teachers to put some fire under other educators or legislators or whatever management is to meet these high student outcomes, because I feel like if you don't know any better, that you're not going to do any better. And I hate that, unfortunately, sometimes I feel like some people are just collecting a paycheck and students are suffering at the expense of it, and it shouldn't be like that. So if more accountability was taken, I feel like people would actually want to do their job and get students everything that they deserve and more. So the next question is, how has your perspective changed since the beginning of the school year? My perspective has changed in many different ways. First off, starting with the ruggedness of teaching. I feel like most teachers, they're bright-tailed and bushy eyes, ready to come out of college and make a change in the education system, which is definitely, that was me for sure, and it still is me. But I do feel like when teachers do have that flame, like it's like that fire under them, they want to do this, and this to see systemic change and have actual students' lives change for the better, which sometimes looks good on paper, but is not carried out in reality, unfortunately. So you have this fire inside of you that you just love education, but little things like mismanagement of behaviors or all the things like other little responsibilities that wears a teacher down day in and day out. I see why people leave. I see why people are quitting left and right. Like I see it all over YouTube. I see it in my classroom. I even see teachers that taught me in high school and middle school and elementary school, like the great teacher recession and what they call it, exodus. There's a reason why teachers are quitting, and now that I'm here, I see why. Like it does kind of dampen your spirit a little bit because you feel like you're in the system and nothing's ever going to change. But I feel like if God has brought me to this calling, like then he'll see me through it for sure, but it definitely takes a toll on you. In my perspective about education, you just automatically think that everyone, and you just pray that everyone's doing the right thing, but unfortunately, like some cases that is the case for sure. In some cases, I can just see where people, systems, everybody can be doing better. Even like me as a first year teacher, I'm still learning and growing. So the last question is, how has my perspective remained the same? And I would say I still have the love for education. I still love seeing students start off from the beginning of the year. Like the growth has been unmatched for my students, and I just pray that as they get older, they continue to love learning. And I understand that students grow and change, but the futures of my students are bright, and I believe that, and I just want everybody to see their brilliantness and greatness and intelligence like I see them, and unfortunately that's not the case. But I still love teaching day in and day out, even the days that I'm tired and I just feel like I could have gone off. It's like those days when I persevere, I see the most change. And throughout this whole school year, like it has changed me as a person. I'm so glad that I did partner with my organization and that I am a teacher, because the only thing I can't see myself doing is being in probably like OB/GYN or like a midwife or something, because I love just like the birth process and coming out of that. But I do believe that educating children is the most powerful. It's like a quote, I'll try to find it, or Ian can try to find it and put it across the screen. But it's like the most powerful thing that you could do is educate a child well, and that just seeps into my soul. Like the most radical change of education is something like that. But the fact is that I get to wake up every day, and like my social justice my service for like social justice is to educate a child well and see what they do and blossom. It's like no other greater feeling. I feel like throughout the school year, through the ups and the downs, like I came in ready to go, and then I quickly saw things that get teachers burnt out, and I'm like, oh, so this is what teaching is all about. but I had to do like a lot of self-reality checks, and of course vlogging along with you guys and seeing my journey from the beginning of the year till now. You guys probably see a difference in me. Like I feel like I'm a completely different teacher, completely different person, Tenia, since the beginning of the year, and I'm so proud of the growth, and I just want to continue to grow with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and I definitely want to hear you guys answer some of these questions down below, so we can have a conversation about it. That would be great. And thank you for my coach for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.